Hi, everybody. It's Heather. I wanted to take a minute and drop in here before the podcast starts this week to talk about our new Patreon option for folks who listen to our Nerd Work podcasts. I make that early childhood nerd because I care about protecting childhood and supporting the adults who show up for children every day, not necessarily because it generates income. Our podcast isn't monetized. We don't have ads and we don't hide any episodes behind paywalls. But we do have expenses. If you want to help keep the show going and cover some of the behind the scenes costs, you can check out our new Patreon. Membership is $5. It's the only level that we have. And for that $5, you get to be part of this really cool Discord community. Discord isn't nearly as scary as it sounds, and we'd be happy to help you figure out how to get in there. And you can interact in the Discord with our podcast hosts, with each other. You can talk about early childhood stuff or pets or hobbies or funny things that are happening in your life or just other community building conversations. Over the summer, we might also be adding some opportunities for Patreon members to join me for some discussions of articles that I'm finding and loving and wanting to talk to folks about. So look in the show notes if that's something that's of interest to you, and you can find there the link to join the Patreon. And if not, we just appreciate you being here with us. If the Patreon's not for you, we love that you're here still listening to the show. There's other ways you can help support us, like sharing episodes or doing reviews on Spotify and at the Apple Podcast app. Those things help people find us. But I'm so grateful for you and for your being here with me as we near 10 years of that early childhood nerd. I couldn't have done it without you, and I love knowing that we're all out there doing this work together.
Hello, welcome to Pre-Primary Sources. I'm Liz Nolasco, and I'm here with Heather Bernt-Santy.
Yay, hi. That's me.
And depending on the order you're listening to these, and we're doing either part 1 or part 2 of our potty series.
Yeah.
The other one is on the Nerd channel. This one is on here.
I don't know when it's coming out, so.
Me neither, but whenever you listen to this, know that
there's another part somewhere.
Yeah, floating around on the internet.
We're bookending the topic, I guess.
Yes. And so this started because Heather found an article about more districts creating policies about kindergartners learning to use the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And so on Heather's show, we talked a lot about, what that means for systems, right? What that means for the school system, what that means for the kids who are coming in still using diapers at 4, 5, 6 years old. And then on here, I started kind of looking at a little bit of the history and why there is this phenomenon, mostly globally, we'll talk about that a little bit, of children, particularly of wealthier families, learning to use the toilet later. Because there is evidence of some pretty obvious financial pressure for children to get out of diapers when, you're spending $100 a month on diapers and you do not have $100 a month to spend on diapers.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I was trying to remember what the name of the piece was that set me off. I think it was like, whose job is it, right? Whose job is it
Yes.
to toilet train kids?
Yeah. So I went on kind of 3 different directions. So the first is a little bit of a historical, cultural tour of what toilet learning has looked like in the last century or so. The second one is, what is the harm in children learning to use the toilet later? I mean, we talked a little bit about classroom issues or not being able to enter certain preschool or kindergarten settings. And then just how it's changed over time, like the impact on the child, the impact on families, and any kind of other differences that there might be. So most of what I found was in the US in 1980, the mean toilet training age was between 25 and 27 months. In 2003, it was 37 months. So that's a pretty substantial difference in one generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually, if you look at, if you do just a little Google search of why are babies toilet training later, there's a whole lot of rage pointed to Dr. T. Barry Brazleton. A lot of rage.
Yeah, I want to hear about this rage.
So what it boils down to is Dr. Brazleton was on the board at Pampers and they funded some of his research.
Oh.
So people say, follow the money, which makes
Hmm.
sense. And so when I looked into Brazleton, I kind of expected to see something along the lines of him saying, like, your kid never needs to leave diapers. This is great. Um, would you like to guess how, so in 1962, Brazleton published a method for toilet learning. Would you like to guess at what age he suggested starting this toilet learning?
15 months.
18 months.
I was going to say that. I talked myself out of it. I mean,
No,
that's
it
a
was a good
very
guess.
traditional age that I still hear thrown
Hmm.
around by some people talking about
Yeah,
independent toilet use.
right. Yeah, exactly. And so I looked at a couple so I'll start with
So why are
Brazleton
they
and then I'll
mad
look
at
at the
him?
other. Oh, because, okay, so sorry. The reason that
Yeah.
he became the face of this anger at Pampers and Big
Hmm.
Diaper in general, Big Disposable Diaper, is because he was on the Pampers commercial in 1998 where they introduced the size 6 diaper, which I think starts,
Oh,
it's like 30 or 35. It's a bigger
uh-huh.
diaper. It's a 3-year-old diaper, right?
Sure. Or
And but when
older.
they introduced the size 6 in at that time, it was clearly morally offensive. Sorry, as I was reading this, I should have started with this. All I could think of was Dan Hudgens, not making moral issues out of developmental ones
Yes, yeah. I thought
because
you meant what the hell, because that's the Dan Hodgins that came to my mind.
also
Okay,
true.
wait. So what year did the size six come out?
That
Does
was
it say?
1998. So it was a full over 30 years
So
after he originally published.
people knew about disability then, I presume.
One would assume.
Had disability been invented then? Like,
Idea was around. Idea was
okay,
for sure
okay, all right.
in existence.
Because I mean, size six diaper has some uses there.
Right.
It's
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that was one of the
okay,
other larger studies that I saw that was looking at just the age of toilet training overall. And lo and behold, disabilities in emotional disabilities, communication disabilities, and motor disabilities all are linked to later toilet learning,
oh
which
sure.
I think is most people working in the early childhood space would say, yeah, that makes sense.
That checks. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Huh. So they were mad at him because they thought we're bringing out a
mhm,
bigger size diaper and you should
mhm.
never potty train your children so that Pampers gets all your money.
Exactly. So
Like
there was a
that's
Time
that's
article.
the unexamined rage is
Yes.
that.
So in
Okay.
1999, there was an article in Time magazine talking about the War of the Diapers, where the author, whose name I forgot to write down, said that Brazleton advised parents to let children decide for themselves when to use the toilet,
Okay.
which is something that I've heard in practice in various
Sure.
parenting styles and ideas behind toileting.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what Brazleton said.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Right. So Brazleton said after 18 months, the parent uses a floor potty chair specifically. Um, and well, it's 1962, so he writes the mother.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and the mother starts building a routine of sitting the
Yeah.
child on the chair fully clothed, just so they get the experience of sitting on it.
Hmm.
After at least a week of this, the child can be taken to sit pantless, and then the parent can take the child to times when they believe the child will eliminate. So this is what I think of when I think of potty training a child. This is a
Hmm.
very traditional method
Right.
of teaching a child to use the toilet.
Yeah.
And and then finally he recommends, the child is in a smallish environment with all their stuff, Pooh Bear style, no pants, no diaper, and the toilet is there, and the parent just makes a point of saying, hey, when you need to pee or poop,
Yeah.
potty's right
Yeah.
there, right
Donald
there.
Duck in it.
Yes,
What we call
exactly.
it. Okay, so
Um,
but is his recommendation just a blanket, do it at 18 months and see how it goes, or does he discuss signs of readiness or any of that kind of stuff?
Yes. So Brazleton and Spock are both, it seems like the first people to talk about signs of readiness.
Okay.
And both of them, the big one is staying dry for the length of the afternoon, dropping to one nap and staying dry for the length of that nap.
Okay.
Because that's an indicator of bladder size, basically. If you
Oh,
can
wow.
hold your pee for 2 hours,
Sure,
then you
sure.
can hold it long enough to get to the toilet when you need to.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's the big one.
Yeah.
So what I found that I thought was interesting. So Brazleton, so that's like a very traditional toilet learning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other one that I was reading about was what is usually used in ABA. And so there is
No.
yeah, so this is the Fox and Azrin method from
Okay.
1971, so just about
It
a decade
sounds
later.
gross already. I already
It
don't like
is,
it.
yeah, so Fox and Azrin sounds pretty unpleasant. Higher success, greater emotional dysregulation in toddlers after the fact. So basically, this was a very small study. This was
Uh-huh.
10 children between 20 and 26 months
Shocking that an
assigned
ABA
to,
study has limited.
yeah, believe
Sorry.
it or not.
Yeah,
No,
sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no.
I'm trying to
Keep talking.
behave.
I love it.
Since I'm company on this show, I'm trying to behave.
No, no, please. And so the Fox and Azrin method, so that is toilet training the children with 5 daily 4-hour sessions. Could you imagine spending 4 entire hours out
That's
of your day with a child
20
who
hours a
is
day, though, right? Five,
uh yeah, so it's 20, so
20.
5 days of 4-hour sessions. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
4-hour sessions across
I was
5 days.
like five a day
Yes.
of 4 hours. That's
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. But I mean
Okay,
still
5 days.
functionally, how do you
Uh-huh.
find four
Four
hours out of your day
hours.
where
Yeah.
like anyway, but
Ugh.
so 4 out of the 5 children in the book, sorry, 4 out of 5 children in this study in the group with the experienced Fox and Azrin trainer were toilet trained
Ugh.
within those 5 sessions. And 1 in 5 who were toilet trained by a parent who'd been trained in Fox and Azrin were toilet trained out of those 5 sessions. All mothers in this study reported that their child exhibited emotional side effects of the training, such as avoidance behavior or temper tantrums.
Oh my God, no kidding.
Shocking.
The adult, would be having temper tantrums.
Right.
Was there
Right.
a
So
control
if we're
group?
talking about, sorry,
Was there a control group in this study? Or was it
this was
just,
just an intervention.
oh, an
Yeah,
intervention? Okay.
yeah, so this
So
was
not,
only
okay, gotcha.
yeah, it was non-comparative, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so if we're looking for evidence of, wanting that readiness approach, I guess it's what's our priority, right? Is it an
Hmm.
emotionally healthy child or is it a child who puts their waste in the toilet?
Yeah, yeah. And what
Um,
factors make it easier to even see a choice? Like
right, right.
what family factors or dynamics or, there's just too many variables to say, here's the way we always do it, and it always works this way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking at Brazleton, where you start with that 18-month-old or Fox and Azrin, I feel like Brazleton is a pretty clear winner. And I can see how, for a lot of modern parenting sensibilities, it still feels very directive. There's not
Sure.
a lot of child choice in it.
Hmm.
And so this is where I was questioning, right? So what is the harm of a child waiting longer when they don't have an identified disability, when they don't
Yeah.
have other, you know, a, re, mm, a physiological, if they're physiologically ready, is there harm in letting them use diapers until they are like 1,000% emotionally just
Mm.
ready to let them go on their
Okay.
own and choose to use the toilet?
Yeah.
So I was looking at a study done by nurses. This is healthcare focused, talking about healthy, so no known diagnoses, no
Hmm.
chronic constipation 4-year-olds. And this was looking at the child behavior checklist because their hypothesis was that 4-year-olds who are not yet using the toilet independently are less likely to be emotionally healthy, more likely to show internalizing or externalizing behaviors than a a 4-year-old who is using the toilet regularly on their own. So this was done at
Okay.
4-year-old well child checkups. And so they just compared two groups, 75 children who were using the toilet on their own at their 4-year checkup and 75 who were not.
Uh-huh.
And they gave each of these sets of families the child behavior checklist, which is a parent reported in battery of, child's
Yeah.
emotional stuff.
Yeah.
So it talks
Yeah.
about things like how often they
Demonstrably
complain about stuff.
unfallible data. The parent
Well,
report.
it's true. And
Not a
actually, so
dig
I,
at
I found
parents.
this
We just aren't the best reporters sometimes of
absolutely. And
what's
so what I
really
found was
happening.
actually
Yeah.
super interesting about the child behavior checklist was in the instructions, it says to the parent, even if other people would disagree with you, what do you personally see in your child?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I thought that was actually a really interesting thing, and the
Yeah.
authors did cite that as actually a potential drawback because there were no observational studies of these children. This was all
Hmm.
by parent report.
Hmm.
So if you had to guess, if you're looking at this, would you agree that it's likely that the 4-year-olds who are not toilet trained or at their 4-year well child checkup are more likely to show these behaviors or similar likelihood or less likely somehow?
I don't know.
Okay. My guess was
Because
was I
I'm
thought
really stuck in thinking it's not that clean cut cause and effect to measure, you know what I
mhm.
mean? I'm stuck. I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
say they were the same. They were
Ding
similar.
ding ding. You got it.
Nice,
Okay, so I
nice.
actually thought it was going to be different. I actually thought the 4-year-olds who were not using the toilet independently were going to be uh more
Yeah.
likely to show these behaviors, just like the authors did, because my assumption was these are probably going to be kids who have just
Have that
generally stronger
already.
opinions, right? Who
Yeah, yeah,
have like those.
yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Like
Yeah.
even if that's the right answer, if that's the higher number
Mhm.
group, you've got
Mhm.
to do some hard work to convince me that it's because they aren't potty trained yet. Like
Yeah.
it's more likely to just be part of who that child is, um,
Yes.
than because of some subliminal shame about still being in diapers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're spot on. So delayed toilet training is neither consequence nor cause of psychological problems, is what the authors
Okay.
said.
Right on.
So yeah,
Thanks for
so I thought that was
that.
yeah. No, so I thought that was super interesting.
Mhm.
However, there is literature that children older than 5 are more likely to show this higher
Oh,
frequency of internalized and externalizing behaviors. So there's
but
that
oh,
interesting
go
question
ahead.
of between 4 and 5, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I my question or my curiosity then is, okay, but are they showing those externalizing behaviors because of the attitudes and words of the adults around them because they're still
Mhm.
in diapers at 5 years old, or because of the
Right.
systems that don't fit them? Like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
No, no, that's really possible. I think that's a really good question. I didn't see a great answer. I did see in that same paper they talked a little bit about children over 7 start to experience more significant social
Okay,
consequences. And
sure.
they define the social consequences as peer rather than adult.
Uh-huh, okay.
But I think either
Yeah,
one is pretty
because
likely
by
at
7, the
7 years
adults
old.
aren't paying attention anymore.
Right. Exactly. Oh, so going back to Brazleton and
Uh-huh.
his very lenient starting at 18 months toilet learning method, was there anything that you noticed missing when I laid out what Brazleton said about teaching a
Wait,
child to use the toilet that is very traditionally done when teaching a child
remind
to
me
use the toilet?
what he said.
Oh, it was,
18 months.
sit him on the potty naked or pantless, and then let him run around
Oh, okay.
pantless, and then with the
Yeah.
potty available. Anything missing from that?
Anything
That is
missing?
very commonly.
Rewards.
Yes. Would you like to know
Yeah.
what children who have been rewarded and punished during toilet training are more likely to exhibit?
Yeah, I do want to know.
One retrospective case control study of 4,332 children
Okay.
found that children who had symptoms of incontinence or chronic infections were more likely to have been rewarded and punished during toilet training. So,
Really?
yeah, I thought
Okay.
that was super interesting because
Yeah.
honestly, that's one of my like, I didn't do it with my kid, but I would never recommend punishing, but honestly,
Right.
if it's an M&M or whatever, like it's an
Yeah.
M&M or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Rewards
no,
are
I thought that was super
punishments.
interesting. Right, yeah.
Reward systems do punish, just not
Yes,
explicitly. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Again on the what's the harm of a child toileting later? My question, a question that I found posed in literature was, do children who toilet train later, it was hypothesized that they might have higher incidences of urinary issues later
Okay.
on, caused by that later training. There was a thought that if they don't develop this habit of specifically filling and emptying the bladder, that it might cause urinary flow issues.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, Not a doctor, but kind of
Uh-huh.
seems like not an unreasonable hypothesis for somebody who knows
Sure.
nothing about the urinary system.
Yeah. I mean, we hear that
But
as adults, right? We're not
yeah,
supposed to hold it for too long because it can be harmful or whatever. At least I think
yeah,
we've heard that about our adult bodies, so why wouldn't it also be true? As
Yeah.
against as opposed as I am to generalizing research about adults down onto children, I think that
Yeah.
one might be transferable.
Seems logical. Yeah. But no, in fact, several groups of authors found the age of toilet training was not a predictor in children of urologic problems.
Okay.
Because
All
that was my
right.
other thought. I'm going, okay, well, if all of this says, like, if there was evidence for later problems, then I
Uh-huh.
would certainly be on the side of, yeah, you know what, start them earlier if there's not emotional harm.
Yeah.
So basically, what I came away with was there's no super strong physiological reason to wait.
Uh-huh.
And there's no super strong emotional reason to start early or later. But it's very much
Yeah, I
following
mean
the
in
child's lead
terms of
is
the
super.
physical
Mhm.
development piece of it,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I think for me when I think about potential harm, it's all about the interactions, the expectations, the language, the practices, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. That's where I feel like either way can be harmful,
Yeah.
but not in terms of just how their bodies develop to
Mhm.
eliminate.
Right.
There's not, you didn't find any harm or
Yeah.
benefit to either.
Yeah. No, it was all just what works for the family and the child and their
Hmm.
particular,
Yeah.
ecological system.
Hmm.
There were two clinic-based studies that looked at parenting factors. So, kind of to your point about how
Uh-huh.
parents interact with the child, but they looked at laxness, verbosity, and overreactivity.
Oh
And there was no
boy.
strong
Okay.
evidence found in toileting problems. So overreactivity, I'm actually surprised did not find, because in my mind, overreactivity is a parent, yelling at a child for having an accident, which I
Right.
think is
Yeah.
roughly what they were looking for too. Um, but laxness, I didn't get a great sense of how they measured that,
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh.
coded that. But there is probably some room for more research in this area. Although this was an older study, I couldn't find anything more recent. This was from 2008, talking about school-aged incontinence.
Okay.
Um, And yeah, so there's kind of what you were saying, right? It comes back to the relationship. It comes back to this idea of what is working for that child's system of people.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm coming away with is I think I was maybe judgier than necessary for the people who wanted to start to learning early, as long as the child was into it. I feel like I was very much on the
Oh,
just wait, just wait, just wait.
yeah.
And I'm kind of seeing a broader span of like, you don't have to wait. Like it doesn't seem like a responsive adult co-directed approach is harmful to
Yeah.
children either, as long as it's done in that really laid back,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
I and I'm trying to think about because I feel like I've always been pretty laid back about, I actually really love doing that kind of like that's one of the things I loved about being a toddler teacher was just how fun it was um, when parents are excited and kids are excited and
Mhm.
we had a communal bathroom so the kids were like cheering each other on and I had
Yeah.
two-year-olds Josh and Chase who every day after lunch we'd march from the little lunchroom, not march, but we'd walk from that little
Yeah.
lunchroom down to this room with four toilets and a changing table. And
Mhm.
every time Chase would go, Josh, hey, let's poop. And Josh would go, yeah.
Love that.
And those boys are probably close to 40 now. They're at least mid 30s. So hi
Yeah.
Chase. Hi Josh and Chase. But I think where I do get and probably still would get a little judgy, well,
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm talking myself out of it, is if they're doing it without any signs of readiness.
Sure. Yeah.
But then, how do I know what their diaper budget and
Yeah.
funds are? Um,
Mhm.
but that's kind of where I always get hung up too, just when we think about like the cultural factors that might be uh, kind of driving decisions about when to start and how to do it.
Mhm.
Um, so I do kind of go around and around on the early. The late, I'm
Mhm.
not as worried about typically, but if I do get judgy, it's usually because someone wants to do it earlier than I think they should. And uh,
Right. Yeah, that's definitely where I was and maybe am too, but that's for
Yeah.
sure where I started this.
Yeah, yeah. And, I think it's different too. Like, are there studies about how it works in a group setting as opposed to just these studies about family practices and parent attitudes and
Mhm.
um, because I think that I don't know, sometimes we also make decisions because I've got a teacher in my twos room who just doesn't like to change diapers anymore, or a teacher in the
Mhm.
threes room who doesn't want to be a baby teacher. And
Right.
so I don't know. I'm just sort of now flipping through the Rolodex of my potty training experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely. I think something that I hear a lot is, from childcare providers is very, very much, I can't do this if the parents aren't doing it at home. And yeah, I would be
Yeah,
interested. And I guess I didn't see anything,
that
but
too.
I
Yeah.
also wasn't specifically looking for it about, group care
Yeah.
practices in
Yeah.
conjunction with or in opposition to
But
home practices.
we shouldn't be doing it at the center if they're not doing it at home, I don't think. I mean, formally, like I think
Mm-hmm.
letting them see what's happening and having conversations and asking if they want to try those kinds of things. But I'm not
Hmm.
gonna, as much as I might have liked to sometimes, take off the diaper and put them in underwear when they're with me and then send
Oh,
them back
yeah.
home to a diaper.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. That's different.
That
Okay, I
kind of
was
a
thinking like
situation.
showing them the toilet as part of that
Yeah,
practice.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Just,
okay.
just, just sort of live, letting them see the reality of
Right.
other people, other children using the toilet or, starting to wear underwear or whatever. I had a document called the potty policy that I used to give families, and we'd
Hmm.
give it to them like outlined like readiness signs and, our preferences consistently using underwear instead of going back and forth or using pull-ups or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and I would give it to them. I mean, if they just were enrolling and the child wasn't using
Hmm.
the toilet already, I would give it to them. But if it was like an infant family, I'd give it to them
Hmm.
then, and then give it to them again when they transitioned to the next room, and then give it to them again. So they kind of just always had it, at least as a
Hmm.
conversation starter. Because also that conversation in the morning when they're dropping their kids off and they're like, "Oh yeah, we started potty training over the weekend."
Yeah.
That's not the time to, to even
Yes.
just like learn, okay, yeah, what does that mean? What are you doing? What would you like us to do? That kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So finding ways to sort of bring it out ahead of time and have it kind of always part of a potential
Hmm.
conversation, I guess. I think I stole that from Jim Greenman's book, Prime Times.
I like it. It's a good thought to have. You can take credit for
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Sorry, I don't know what all that was other than me just processing
Yeah.
thoughts
No, it
about
makes sense
this.
because there is that partnership that has to be present and that
Yeah,
trust that has to be present and
yeah,
that kind of lack of resentment that needs to be present. And that
yeah,
feels a little strong, but I do feel like there's a lot of pressure from educators, particularly when you get to that 3, 4,
yeah,
5-year-old room
yeah,
of, God, why aren't they doing this at home? And the parent may
yeah.
well be doing it at home, but if the
Hmm.
energy that you're giving is you're parenting wrong, then you're not
Right.
going to
Well, I
know
mean,
about it.
I think that's what really set me off with the actual article was just like a report of
Hmm.
statistics and facts and what school districts are doing, but the headline being whose job is it was very
Yes.
much clearly resentful that parents weren't doing it. Um,
Right.
and it's just another reflection, I think, of how so often when we're working with young children in group care settings, um,
Hmm.
have that kind of resentment. Like if they just did the right thing at home, my day would be easier here. And
Hmm.
it's wild to me because when I talk to my students, like we just did in my child development class, we just talked about Magda Gerber, who also had some
Hmm.
strong thoughts about how to at least do the diapering part of the routine or the potty training parts of the routine, not as much about when you should do it, I think. Oh, and I've used Carol Garbode Murray's book, and we've
Hmm.
read things about toilet learning. And they all are like the students, their minds are always blown because we tend to think of it as just the kid just needs to be smart enough. They just need to be smart enough. Or if a kid
Yeah.
is really verbal really early, we think, oh, they're ready. All those indicators of traditional indicators of intelligence. And when they see actually all the body stuff that needs to happen and statistics about this and um, uh just they don't think interoception, they don't they don't even think,
Mhm.
they've never sort of been given the opportunity to think about um oh yeah, part of it is understanding what that feeling in your lower abdomen means.
Right.
um and but then they also say, like, they get excited about the information, then they also say, but I just couldn't do that in the program where I work now. This wouldn't work. We couldn't do it this way. And it's wild to me because a lot of them are the same programs that are, on social media talking about their evidence-based practices,
Well,
by which
yeah,
they
what are you hearing from the programs that the programs are doing in terms of toilet learning now?
um I mean, there's still a lot of, they have to be potty trained to go to the threes room.
Oh, sure.
Um and a lot of resentment about parents trying it too early or not wanting to do it at all. It's still, I don't know that I've seen much change in this area
Yeah.
in terms of how things go. Um, I'm a little bit curious about it now with one of Indiana's proposed regulatory changes being that 2-year-olds aren't really toddlers anymore, and increasing that group size capacity and lowering the ratios. I'm worried that it's going to
Hmm.
get pushed down even further because of logistical stuff. Like, it is hard to
Yeah.
move your 3-year-olds through, march them through the daily schedule and still
Yeah.
have to take care of toileting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's gosh, that's so crazy. Because when I first moved to California from Indiana and I saw that it for centers in California, once they're 24 months, they're considered preschoolers. And
Oh,
so
are they?
they that 1 to 12 ratio applies in California, which
Mm.
is bananas. Can you
Hmm.
imagine 12,
I
24 to
really
30
thought
month olds?
ratios were better in California. Group sizes were better, but I
Up
just
to
assumed
24
that
months
maybe.
they are, over 24
Okay.
months, nope.
But you've got
Um,
how many? Oh man. Okay. I didn't know that.
yeah, no, so
That's
up to 24 months it's
bonkers,
4 to 1,
to
which
use
is
a
great.
professional
And
term.
then yes. And then just to flip the switch and triple that group size once they're 2 years old
Oh
is
my God.
bananas.
Yeah.
So what I saw in a lot of centers in the Bay Area was that 2 years and 9 months is when they'd start their preschool programs. So turning three, which is still 1 to 12 for 3 year olds, I think is also bananas. But
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
um,
Yes. Yeah. It's like TPK to go with your TK.
yes,
TPK.
exactly. Yeah, oh, it's coming. But
What is wrong with the world?
right. But yeah, so with that structural change, that idea of incentivizing programs to only enroll children who are fully potty trained
Yeah.
is present. And that
Uh,
also incentivizes parents to lie about whether their child is using the
yeah.
toilet.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a full class of threes in diapers if it means that they actually need those diapers and are not using the
Yeah.
toilet than a classroom full of threes whose parents swear up and down that they only use the toilet at home, and lo and behold, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's interesting, and I believe you that that's the fact. But also that idea of, well, mom says they use the toilet all the time at home and we don't see it here. Two
Oh,
very
okay,
different
true.
environments, right? Two very
Yes, no, you're
different.
right. You're right.
But I do think there probably are who feel pressured, like they're not probably trying to make you miserable, but they feel that pressure. They need the care. And the only way I can get
Yeah.
it is to say my child is independently using the toilet when they've never seen underwear in their life.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Those different I can't discount the
Yeah,
impact of the
yeah.
different environments because you see it in both directions, right? There are kids
Right,
who
yeah.
are thrilled to use the toilet at school because they see all their friends doing it,
Right,
and then
yeah.
they go home and can't do it because I don't know what everybody else is doing in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right, where it's
They
easier
don't
on the
have
little
that.
potty or whatever.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, the home toilet is pretty scary for some, height
Right.
wise and stability wise too.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of my own child who likes to let me know that on occasion that he's just lonely. He just needs company in there, you know? It
My
happens.
God. Yeah. I used to do a potty wall of fame on the hallway outside the bathroom, like just giving away all their information. But they'd take a picture of themselves holding a pair of underwear, put them on the potty wall of fame. Parents loved it. The kids loved it. But I was like, this is their medical information. I'm just publishing to the world.
That's one of those very cute things that, yeah, okay, maybe I wouldn't do it right
I
now,
would
but at
not
the
do it
time, I'm
again.
sure that is
No, but
like
it was,
delightful.
yeah, yeah. I think like I shared it as a fun tip in a newsletter before the uh, days of the internet. So I got to make all my mistakes offline.
Lucky you.
No, I'm still making many mistakes fully online.
No, I like that.
God,
All right, so I do want to
sorry.
close. No, you're good.
Yeah.
I do want to close off with a implications for professional practice. I've been really bad
Yes.
about this so far, but I want to get better at this. So,
Okay.
implications for professional practice with this information that, yeah, it makes, one of the signs of readiness is, in fact, that dryness during the afternoon nap, right?
Hmm.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, so as professionals working in early childhood programs or working with people who work in early childhood programs, so my big takeaway here was making sure families know what readiness is,
Hmm.
right? What that truly looks like. And it doesn't necessarily mean directly asking to use the toilet, but it does mean that awareness, right?
Yeah.
And how the children show that awareness without saying it necessarily.
Hmm.
Sometimes they do. My own 21-month-old will wake up in the morning and let me know that he's ready for me by just yelling "Kaka" at the top of his lungs. Uh, so
Oh my God. Bring your kids over. I want to play. Anyway,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah, so this idea of and it's not harmful to children to wait until they are making those verbal requests.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I don't know, living in that tension of both of these things are true and fine, and there's nothing necessarily emotionally wrong with a 4-year-old who's not using the toilet independently, or a 5-year-old who's not using the toilet independently. And
Yeah.
it all comes back down to relationships
It's
with
and it's like it's the social model of disability too, right? It's like the
Mhm.
impairment. I haven't maybe there's an impairment. I'm not saying that it's anyone who's not potty trained is, has an impairment.
Mhm.
Anyway, the idea being the medical model means there's, something wrong with my body. The social model means this system just isn't set up for me to move through the
Yeah.
world the way that I need to move through the world. And I think the same could be said in this conversation about potty training that um, it's the systems that create the problem for the 5-year-old who's still in a diaper.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and part of that system, I think, is the support that we're giving to families from
Hmm.
toddlerhood on. There's, again, just that overload of information, and
Yeah.
everywhere you turn, there's somebody saying something totally different
Yeah.
about what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Hmm.
And it's funny because actually that was one of the comments in, I don't know that I made it all the way into my notes, but there was a Belgian study of t talking about, oh, I didn't make it into my notes because it was all self-reported from memory over across 3 generations of parents. So, with respect to this study, I do not believe that anyone accurately remembers. If you can tell me down to the month that your own children were
Yeah.
toilet trained at this point, I
I
would
cannot.
be
No.
say you were
No.
misremembering.
No. No. I could tell you
But
about Spider-Man underwear, but I couldn't tell you the date and time.
yes, love it. But even parents, 60 years ago, who were toilet training their children 60 years ago, talk
Yeah.
about the pressure from their own parents to do
Really?
it differently.
Oh
So
my
it's always
gosh.
been a generational
Yes.
conversation.
That's good to know. Yeah. Yeah, I've been blaming a specific generation
Yes. The more
for a
things
lot
change,
of
the
that
more they
kind of
say the
thing. Yes,
same.
yeah, yeah. Huh.
But I think that also comes up, right? We hear a lot of, these millennial parents sending their kindergartners to school in diapers, and it's,
Oh,
you
yes.
know, it,
Probably a lot of
everybody's had,
criticism of gentle parenting and
yes, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I I'm just thinking about implications for practice because some things are not within the control of someone who's listening, maybe, there's just some things that can't
Sure.
change. But I mean, I did when we recorded together about this for my show, um I kind of was just wondering out loud and wondered what the impact of just losing play or not getting outside play or not being able to move very much
Hmm.
might be impacting this too. And so I read a little bit about that between then and now. And I think we can link that too. And that might be kind of an easy implication for practice. Get outside
Yeah.
and let them play big with their bodies and get lots of sensory variation and I mean that's those are the things that build interoception, which is
Yes.
part of figuring out what that feeling means. How do I hold it? How do I let go again?
Yeah.
So I think throwing a little bit more play or looking at how much time they really get to move and what their real sensory intake opportunities are besides the sensory table, it could be, a way to help children feel readier
Yeah.
for when it's the stars align and everybody's gonna give it a go.
Yes.
Literally give it a go.
Right. Yeah, that freedom to be able to self-advocate and say, I
Yeah,
need to
sure, yeah.
go. Hey y'all, there's going to be a little bit of a clunky shift here because somebody's child walked in while we were recording. And so there's going to be a quick topic shift and then we will land the plane. Thank you for bearing with us and the reality of being working parents. There are many things that are outside the control of the classroom teacher and administrator,
Hmm.
and working with families is better than imposing upon families. And
Right.
did I summarize what you said properly?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you did it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking about potties with me again.
No problem. Always fun.
No, I want to
And
talk with her.
yes, and we're still recording, and you can in 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you, listeners.